Well, I am new staff, so myself and Sam are both new hires. So we started in, I suppose, a year ago now. And previous to that, I had taught at the National College of Art and Design in Dublin. Previous to that, I had taught in America at Savannah College of Art and Design. So I have a fair bit of teaching experience. So it was really nice, but I've never taught in Northern Ireland. So it was really nice. My workshop is based in Derry, my hometown. So it was really, when the opportunity came up for the teaching job, it's something I just kind of had to go for, because it was really, it's lovely to think that I have now got some input back in my, I suppose, home place. So alongside teaching, I teach part-time, and alongside that I have a studio practice based in Derry, but I also do a lot of work in the community, with community groups. So this kind of project work with people who maybe have never done metals before is of multiple interest to me, because as much as I want students to progress through to a degree, ideally in silversmithing and jewellery, I'm really interested in anyone having access to these kind of arts. I think it's really enriching to everybody individually, but to the community as a kind of wider audience. The department is, I suppose, we're looking to reactivate the department and kind of reinvigorate activity in the department. We haven't had students for a few years, so the goal, which has been supported by the Dean, Louise O'Boyle, was really to activate the space, get students into the space and experiencing what is possible in this department, and ideally for recruitment, so that they would think about coming back. And even if this cohort of students are maybe, have an eye to go somewhere else, that they'll always think about they have access to the studio if they ever wanted to incorporate it into their, if they're in fine art or if they're in textiles. We're always open to that collaborative kind of interdiscipline kind of project work. It always kind of interests both of us. Long term, the goal is recruitment. We would really like to see a cohort of students come through from outside, from internal, from foundation students. And so when Louise offered us the availability to have 2 visiting artists, the opportunity, we couldn't pass it up, because it's a really exciting opportunity, especially at this level. Foundation students usually don't have access to this kind of opportunity, so it's really unique. It was open to beyond foundation, so it's really nice to have a collective group of students taking part. But it's really the support of Louise is really appreciated, because we need that right now and ongoing. We would love that to continue, both the support and the availability to bring international visiting artists into our studio, because it's always great to have that access out of the studio to see what other people are doing, what careers are out there with this, because sometimes it's really unknown. In Northern Ireland, it's a small place, there's not many people doing this for a living, but there is absolutely an availability as a career path, and we want to kind of illuminate that and illustrate that to students. I'm a jeweller and Sam's a silversmith, and I suppose it's all I've done since I was 18, so I'm a long time involved in the field, and it really has always excited me. I started the interest here years ago, where I did a week in sculpture, and was introduced to welding, was really introduced to metal for the first time. So that was, from then on, it's just that kind of excitement of the material. It was just a material I really liked, and the variety of work that can be created with that material. I mean, it's quite amazing what people can do with flat sheet and the variety of types of work. Sam's a silversmith, so her work is very different. I'm a jewellery trained person, so we both think differently, which is great. That's the positive in this department, that we're both with 2 different minds, but we have a love for the material. And not to say that I also really like other materials, so I really like the idea of combining other materials, so you're not limited to metal. But what I do like is the skills that you can learn at the bench are very transferable, so you can use those skills to work in different materials and access a variety of sources then to bring back to your work. So your work doesn't always have to be solely metal. I've had students graduate with felted pieces, with plastic, with ceramic elements, so that excites me too. As much as I love metal, I love the idea of combining that, or the skills. I love the skills. I'm very committed to those skills and continuing to bring those skills to other people. You know, I've asked a few of them, are they enjoying it? They're obviously maybe going to say yes to me, but I think even a few have mentioned that they're enjoying it more than they thought they would, and that for me is a win-win, because as a young student at any art college, and definitely coming from a school system, the accessibility to metals or metalworking techniques is very limited. So when you give them that introduction, even if it's only a 1 or 2 day event, it just takes that spark of this is for me, or they really enjoy it, and that's the goal, is to engender that love for not only the material but the techniques. So I'm really pleased that they've engaged as fully as they have in the project. I'm really pleased, actually. It couldn't have gone any better. So I'm excited to see what the outcomes are. Growth of the student. It's really important, the student experience in the department. They need to feel that if they are in this department, that they are getting a wonderful experience, and that they feel like they can apply that experience and knowledge in the future to a career path. So I'm excited to share that knowledge, but also to bring on board projects that we can excite and activate the space. So visiting artists, live projects, visits to international events, to really kind of open the eyes to the possibilities for students, so that they see where they could take these skills and this kind of the skill set, because there's a lot that can be done with it. So in the future, I'd love to think that our students are going on to a variety of jobs, but they can go on to further, either at a master's level or work for someone else, set up on their own as a sole trader. There's so many opportunities if they work hard during their 3 years and leave with the skill set that I would hope and Sam would hope to deliver to them. I think what the department offers goes beyond an education. It also offers to the wider community sustaining the cultural aspect of what we do as makers, because culturally the nation as a whole, the island as a whole, the UK as a whole has a wealth of history and a very long history of makers and heritage crafts and craft making. Whatever language you want to use, making is very important, and I think in the future it's going to become more important as AI technology takes over a lot of jobs. There is something very sustainable about what we do, and that human interaction, that human touch, and there is a desire. There is a long-standing argument now since COVID for a slow design movement, where people are looking for provenance of objects, and they're not rejecting, but they're looking for alternatives to mass production and overseas production, or production that increases effects on the world or effects on climate change, and just that idea of spending more and getting something better. And I think that there's TV programs that encourage that. There's a whole movement happening, and in our small part, that's what we're bringing. So the more people come in, I think it's really actually culturally important that the university supports this program and supports the idea that we are adding not only to the education of the individuals, but that we're adding to the overall culture of our nation, which is really important, because otherwise we're left devoid of that. We're left for others to decide what is our design culture, and that's really sad. So it's really important that we're supported, and we are being supported. So now, looking to the future, it's really just up to us and up to this kind of event to encourage those students to think about it. You don't show someone, they don't see, so they don't have the option. So visibility is really important. So there's lots of events. We're going to, Bryony's given a talk at the Crafty and I, so we've made really good partnerships with other bodies, and that's another thing in the future. We will look to other stakeholders outside of the university to make those connections, to make sustainable opportunities for students and opportunities for the department to grow. So Crafty and I, the Crafts Council of Ireland, the Crafts Council of the UK, Crafts Scotland, there's many partnerships. The two visiting artists that we have engaged happen to both be based in Scotland, so that Ulster Scots connection is kind of important anyway. It exists, it's a historic fact, so it's nice collegiate-wise to make those connections and retain those connections, so that into the future I can see opportunities for mobility of our students, but also projects that we can engage in together. So I see really positive opportunities in the future, and it really excites me to be involved in that process as a whole. I know, like, to see the students over 2 days express themselves through metal, which they probably have never done before, it's really quite exciting to see them engage in the process, produce something and be excited. I can be excited. I'm going to be excited anyway. I'm easily excited about metal, but I can see that they're really proud of what they've done, and that's half the battle. When you make something, it starts from flat sheet and it turns into an object. There's something very satisfying about that. So that's the most exciting thing about the 2 days, that they've really engaged. They've done really well. I'm really happy with how it's gone, so it really couldn't have went any better.